A bombshell indictment from a federal grand jury was filed against former FBI Director James Comey. And in the indictment, Comey was charged with lying to Congress in a criminal case that was filed just days ahead of the soon-to-be expired statute of limitations. So we want to go further into this, looking at the specific charges. And now here to join me with all this is Chris Farrell. He's with Judicial Watch. He's the Director of Investigations and Research there at Judicial Watch. Chris, thank you for joining us on Washington Watch. Really good to see you.
Great to be with you. Thank you very much, Jody.
Okay, so I know Judicial Watch has been heavily involved in exposing, if you will, the former FBI director. Why don't we start there and just kind of give us the groundwork of what you all have been doing and working on in this regard?
Well, literally for years, we have pursued trying to get to the bottom of the targeting, first of candidate Trump, then the Trump transition, and then President Trump. And in all three phases of that investigation, at the very core, at the very root of those unlawful attempts to really have a soft coup to overthrow the legitimately elected president, at the very heart of all of that was James Comey. He played an integral role. He engaged in unethical and illegal conduct and really ran his own campaign to unlawfully unseat the president. And there's virtually no lengths to which he would go. He leaked to the press. He set up phony investigations. He caused the appointment of special counsel Robert Mueller. He contributed to, impeachments that failed. So, this is a concerted, long-term effort by Comey. He has bent and twisted the laws. President Trump calls him a dirty cop, and that is exactly what he is. And so now, finally, we're seeing some justice.
So it sounds to me from those comments that you really are not at all surprised by the charges.
No, in fact, if anything, I'm disappointed. It took too long, and there's too few charges. This is a very simple, very narrow indictment. It's completely legitimate and very strong, in my opinion. But when you look at the pattern and practice, the conduct of James Comey over years, he and quite a few other people in the Justice Department and the FBI, maybe these indictments are coming. We can hope. But there's really got to be justice. There's got to be prosecutions here, because there's an awful lot of Americans who saw what happened, who understand how President Trump was unlawfully targeted, and they know that, hey, look, somebody's got to be called to account for this.
Yeah, I remember personally, I was on the Oversight Committee when all this was going down, and personally had my opportunity to question Comey. And
yes,
I remember, I think it was back in September or so of 2020. But kind of take us back to that again, if you will, Chris, all the circumstances that were involved as he appeared before Congress. What was kind of the setting at that moment?
Well, the foundation in August of 2016 was Hillary Clinton's decision, actually in July of 2016, Hillary Clinton's decision to generate a false claim against President Trump and his campaign. And this was the Russia hoax that, Clintons paid for and was funneled through their campaign attorneys that hired Christopher Steele, a former British MI6 officer who ginned up a phony dossier. The FBI, under Comey's direction, attempted to set up President Trump and other important people like a personal friend and hero, General Mike Flynn. And they did things like they had a counterintelligence investigation that they launched in the United Kingdom and then brought back into the United States, saying that they had to pursue a big espionage case. And, this was a spider web of claims and conspiracies that were ginned up, and it opened the door. It let people like Adam Schiff, who's just a completely, I'm at a loss for words to describe
We
him.
get it. Yeah, we get it.
I mean, he ran an impeachment campaign out of the House Intelligence Committee. You talk about unorthodox, irregular, unlawful activity. Anyway, this was a years-long campaign, and it attempted to destroy President Trump and many innocent people around him. Devin Nunes, another guy who was raked over the coals. And a lot of, quote unquote, little people, ordinary Americans who were staffers who really got ground up in the process. You can't do this. This is a case where they found the person they hated, Donald Trump, and then they gymmed up every crime they could imagine and blamed him and others around him.
And they still can't get over that kind of attacks against him. But so what kind of sentence potentially could Comey face if he's convicted?
I'm not up on the sentencing guidelines for those felonies and whether they're compounded in some. But it is a serious, both financial and jail time charge, depending upon how they pursue it.
So were you at all surprised by his reaction to the indictments, the video that he put out?
No, it's standard James Comey. He's smug, condescending, self-righteous. It's James Comey, at his regular self. That's how he comes across, and that's just how he carries himself at all times. Yeah. He's a remarkably
and he's smooth. He's very smooth in the midst of all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So real quickly, where can folks go to read more about Judicial Watch and the investigations you've got going on?
Sure. We have a ton of information, particularly about this subject, on our website, which is Judicial Watch, altogether one word, judicialwatch.org, O-R-G. And I think folks will be fascinated by what's up there.
I do too. Thank you so much, Chris Farrell, Judicial Watch's Director of Investigations and Research. Incredible info. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Jody. Appreciate it.